function for questions. We're going to go ahead and introduce Louisiana head coach Bob Marlin. Coach.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and participate in the NCAA tournament with this team representing the Sun Belt Conference. We've had a really good year and had some great wins and had an outstanding tournament just a week ago. We know a lot about Tennessee, and Rick Barnes and I have been friends for a while, and he's a tremendous coach. They've got a great team, and we're honored to play these guys. At this stage of the year, you're going to play someone that's good, and we feel fortunate to be playing Tennessee.
Let's go ahead and open up the floor for questions for Coach Marlin. Back row, please.
Karaski Melvin, KLFY. Coach, of course, this game different from all the others. As a coach, what do you kind of do to help your players realize that it's not, or it's just like every other game?
Well, we can talk about it, but they know. They're anxious a little bit. We'll keep them in a good place. And we have guys that have been in the tournament before, and we have a coaching staff that's been in the tournament for many years. And I think that's a big help to us.
I kind of wanted to follow up on that, on how beneficial that experience is. Jordan and Terrence had mentioned earlier about their experience, but how helpful it is for you as a coach to have those players along with you, kind of lowering the temperature of that excitement and that anxiety.
Right, they're familiar with the process certainly and have experienced it, and they've done a good job helping to lead our team in that area.
Row 2.
In what ways have they been able to, is it more by talking to their teammates? Here's what to expect when you go out there in front of the bright lights, or is it more just showing?
No, I think it's talking at this stage, right? They're close. We've got a really connected group, and they listen to each other, and I think their talking has helped influence the other guys and make them feel somewhat at ease.
And then how big is the margin between a brand name program and a mid-major champion, and where's the difference found? Well,
there's certainly a difference in the two levels of play. Tennessee is a storied program, as we talked about. They had some great players and great teams over the years. We've played them. Our school has played them in the past in the NCAA tournament. And actually, Jordan's father, Dion, played against Tennessee in the NCAA tournament. So we're excited, to be here, and all the experience really helps.
Next question for Coach. Back row, please.
Coach, Bob Kessling of the Ball Network. Can you talk about when you found out Jordan was going to transfer in and what that meant to you in this program?
Yeah, Bob. We recruited him hard out of high school, and he visited us, UCLA, St. John's, some big schools on his initial visits, and then settled on Nevada, and then went to Arizona when Muss left, and then he turned around and called us. And actually, the last three schools this time were us, Texas, and Tennessee. So they had a connection to him as well. But it's meant a lot to have him in our program. I think he's as good as any inside player in this tournament. He had a great year this year, and I know he'll be the focal point. He gets double and triple teamed every night, but he can really score the ball. He's got great footwork. He's got a great left hand, right hand. He's got the total package on the offensive end.
What has been the overall impact, though, he's had on your program, and just has he elevated this team over the last since he's been at your school?
And without a doubt, he's helped us win the championship. I mean, he was most outstanding player of the Sun Belt Championship. He was preseason player of the year. He got the most votes of any player for all conference. Just had a tremendous year and very consistent in his approach. He matured a lot. He graduated at Christmas And I think that took a load off of him as well.
Row 2.
Joe Rexall from The Athletic. Just wondering what you think of Olivier Kamwa for Tennessee and what he brings to their team.
He's an excellent player, really good rebounder, as all those guys are. Good defensively, can score the ball also a little bit. But I like him a lot. I like several of their guys, actually.
Back row, please.
Speaking of one of those guys, Santiago, especially with his three-point shooting, what is the team going to have to do to kind of keep that in check?
But that's a difficult task, right? And along those lines, Garaski, I told our team yesterday that I voted him second-team All-American in my NABC vote just last week, and he didn't make it, but I think he's that good. And I've watched him play for a long time. We're going to have to really stay close to him and try to make him uncomfortable, but he plays at such a good pace, that's hard to do.
Back row, thank you.
Coach Rick Barnes said you guys have a long relationship back his Texas days and when you guys were crossing paths. Any stories or relationship things you could tell us about you and Coach Barnes?
Not necessarily. He stopped. He'd stop when he was in Texas, and then when I took the job in Lafayette, he'd stop on the way through and call me, and we'd visit, stuff like that. But he's always been a class act to me, and I appreciate the opportunity to play against his team. I mean, I know we're getting a team that's great defensively and going to be really tough. But known Rick a long time, I guess one storyline would be that we were both assistants at Alabama at one time. So.
Back row.
Oh, Jalen Cavalier, KLFY. Coach, I want to ask, I noticed since you're talking about storylines, one storyline is, Tennessee has these players, they're out with injuries. How does that affect your team?
Well, we've had some injury too. Greg Williams was hurt and didn't play in the second half of our championship game, and he has not practiced yet full speed since he's been back. So that's still a question mark for us. But certainly Ziegler's a really good player. I enjoyed watching him play and actually saw the game in the past when he hurt himself. And that was a big blow to Tennessee, in my opinion. They've lost some difficult games down the stretch. And with him being out, that was a major factor in the way they finished the year.
Final questions